Hey everyone, it's Sam from Barn2, and today I'm going to walk you through how to set up your very first Shopify store from scratch. I know that the idea of starting an online store can be a bit intimidating, especially with all the technical details involved. But the good news is that Shopify makes it incredibly simple and intuitive for anyone to start an online store, even if you've never done anything like this before. There's no coding and no headaches, I promise. So in this video, I'll walk you through the entire process of setting up your Shopify store step by step. By the time you're done watching this, you'll have all the tools you need to launch a fully functional store and start selling. We'll cover everything from setting up your account to adding products, editing pages, and collecting payments. Then I'll discuss how to go live when you're ready. Step 1. Get Shopify. Now, the first and most obvious step is to head to shopify.com and create your free account. You can use our affiliate link that I've left in the description below this video to save you some time. It's a good idea to sign up for a free trial with your email, which at the moment will last 3 days. You can use that time to set everything up before you have to purchase any paid plans. And in terms of paid plans, they're also running a great deal at the moment, which allows you to start up for 3 months for only $1 or €1. For today's tutorial, I'll be using the free trial, and I'll skip through all of the entering of my details and jump straight to the account page once this is launched. Now, Shopify will present you with a questionnaire to cater your setup needs. Now, you can skip this by clicking I don't want help setting up, and then they'll present you with several plan options. We'll discuss these later in the video, so you can skip this as well. All right, so here we are on the Shopify dashboard. Now you can see that there are 7 steps in my setup guide, but depending on how you answered the questions in this survey, if you wanted to answer them, you may have more or less steps to complete. But that's okay, because you can just follow the steps in this video and I'll cover everything you need. Now, I'm also just going to minimize this free trial reminder and we'll move straight on to step 2. Step 2, add new products and variants. One of the biggest keys to success in e-commerce is to find winning products. So to help you with that, we have a guide on our blog about the best products to sell on Shopify. I'll link it in the description below, but I'm not going to discuss that today as it's a complex topic for another time. For today, let's just set up some example products, starting with a simple product that we'll also add some variations to for customers to choose from. To add a new product, you can use this button here in the setup guide, or you can click over on products and click add product. Now, every product needs a title and a description, something that will help the customer to understand what the product is that you're selling. So I'll just begin with an example for a Barn2 merch store. We have a range of t-shirts, hoodies, and hats available for anyone to purchase with the Barn2 branding. So let's begin by adding some information. And here we'll add a description as well, which describes the product's makeup as well as the color. And if I wanted to add a little bit more text to this, then I could also employ the help of AI. So let's use this featured keywords, and we're going with something more sophisticated, and we can generate the text. I'm going to copy this as it is and add it to my description here. Now keep in mind that the length of your description will be important in terms of the page layout on product pages. So for the moment, try to keep it short and to the point, as you don't want a giant wall of text that people have to read in order to understand the product, which may prevent them from taking other actions that you would want them to. Now down here in the media section, we can upload new images. First, I'll upload the main image that I want to be displayed, and then I can also add additional photos in the same way. These pictures will also be useful when I add variations later on, and I can reorder the photos like this if I want to. Now you'll notice that the category has been auto-filled by Shopify, and you can edit this if needed. One more note about images. You want them to be a consistent size. Typically a square ratio works out the best, and you want them to be of the highest possible quality, and ideally you want to showcase your products in a real-life setting. So these hoodie images would definitely be improved by having a model wear this hoodie, or just having an everyday setting where somebody is comfortably wearing it. If you want to get high quality pictures taken of your products, you can send them to a product photographer which you can hire on a gig website. You can give them some references for what kinds of photos you want them to take, and they can provide you with those. Now, the price is something that you'll need to research and carefully consider. It's going to be based on a number of different factors. I'll just use an example price for today, and this compare at price is essentially how you present the item as if it were on sale. So if I put the compare at price at 120 and the normal price at 100, then this price here will be scratched out and the customer will see 100 as the price that they're paying. We also want to charge tax on this product, as this has implications for your wider business. And we can also add a cost per item so we can see what our margins are. Now, this information is not shared with the customer, and it's simply for your own internal bookkeeping. Now, the inventory management down here is less important when you are starting out, but it's a great idea to have a solid organizational setup from the beginning so you don't have to deal with sort of issues with organization down the line. Typically, you'll create a SKU using the first two letters relating to the category of the product. So I'll put HD for hoodie, and I'll put something like blue or navy as the specific item. Then if you want to create a barcode, you can use a barcode generator anywhere online, and it'll give you something like this one, for example. You can also choose to track your quantity of this item, though in order to do that, we'll have to save our changes at this time. So we'll click save, and now we can show what our quantity is in terms of how many are available, as well as some descriptions about them. Let's say we have 100 items available and on hand. This will also make it so you can sell the product, assuming that you are tracking quantity. If you deselect this box, you'll be able to sell items without any tracking of quantity, but beware that if people order too many and you don't have enough stock to meet that demand, that's a problem you'll have to deal with. Now, in terms of shipping, we do have a physical product here with a hoodie, and I'm going to do my best to approximate the weight at this time. So around 400 grams or 0.4 kilograms. And I'm not going to add any customs information as I'm not going to be selling internationally at the moment. Now down here, we have the option to add some variants. This is basically going to convert it from a simple single product into a product with multiple colors, etc. Let's see how that looks. So if I choose color, then in this list here, I can add other colors as well. So let's add navy and gray. Leave a comment if you spell gray with an E or an A. I like to spell it with an E, but Shopify insists on A. Then click on done, and we've added our color options. But we'll also want to add some sizing options because these are items of clothing. So let's add some sizes from the list. We'll add small, medium, and large for now, and click on done. Now you'll notice that if I expand all of the variants, there are a lot of them. And you'll also notice that my available units for each item has been changed to 0 for almost everything except for the very first one. So you will have to adjust these numbers based on the actual stock levels that you have. Another thing you'll want to consider is if you're changing the price based on the size, for example. So small might be 90, but large might be 110. And you'll need to make that update for all of the variations as you go down the list. So do be aware of that. You can also adjust some of the different attributes of the product, such as the fabric, age group, neckline, and so on. This is going to be specific to your product and recommended by Shopify. And down here, right at the bottom, we have some search engine optimization. So if you click on edit here, you'll be able to see a couple of things like the meta description, as well as the URL handle. And the best recommendation I've seen is to just keep this URL as short as possible, even if the product title itself is very long. And you also need to keep this page title short and descriptive as well. Now we can save our product, and that's already set up. So as I scroll to the top here, you'll notice on the right-hand side, we can add this product to various different organizational categories. You can add it to collections as well, which are groups of products. And you can add tags to make it easier to find your product on your website. Then up the top here, we have a preview option. So let's open that in a new tab. And here we can see a preview of our product, which is already looking really nice. We've got multiple photos of each color, showing the back and front of the hoodie. We have the compare at price here and the normal price here, so you can see how that is displayed. Note that I'm in Poland, so this is in zloty rather than in US dollars. And there are multiple options: navy, gray, and black, as well as multiple size options to be chosen from. But note that we're out of stock in all of these other items because I didn't update the stock levels in the back end, meaning that you won't be able to sell any black hoodies of medium or large until you update those stock levels. So you notice here I can add to cart, but with medium and large, it shows as being sold out. So do be aware of that before you launch. Step 3, configure theme. Next, we need to customize the look and feel of our store by configuring the store's theme. This is like the blueprint that your site will use to display all of your different content. To have a look at our theme, we'll go to the Sales Channels section on the left sidebar and click on Online Store. Then the first thing on the list here is Themes. Now, at the moment, we can see what theme we have enabled, which is the Dawn theme. This is the current default by Shopify, and it honestly does a great job for most stores that are just starting out. If you scroll down a little bit, you can see some other popular free themes, and there's also a theme store where you can explore a bunch of paid theme options. You'll notice that the prices for them start at around $200 and go up north of that. I wouldn't recommend spending this much if you are literally just starting out and you don't quite know what you're doing yet. The Dawn theme is a great starting theme and it'll help you get started. Once you've chosen a theme, you can click on Customize, and that'll bring us to a preview of our homepage. But I actually want to go over here to the left and click on the theme settings. Now, this is a list of all of the different things that you can change within your theme. This doesn't necessarily change the content of your site, like what is written on the page, but it does change how those pieces of content are going to be displayed in terms of their sizes, fonts, and positioning. So for example, here we have a logo option. I'm actually going to add a logo here, give that a minute to load, and you can see here it's loaded up on the header of my site. I think it's a little bit too big though, so I'm just going to bring it down to 50 pixels, and that's already looking way better. If you don't know what this favicon image is, it's basically the little image that displays at the top above the address bar to the left of the text of any tab that you have open on your browser. Now, I do actually have one of those as well, so I'll bring that in here now. So you may not see much now, but once you reload the page, you should see this at the top of the tab when you load your store. So that's looking great, and we can already click Save before moving on to the other settings. Now we have some more options, including colors. You can set up what different color schemes are available on your store or when you are editing. You also have typography settings where you can choose fonts and so on, and the list kind of goes on from here. Note that you can also edit parts of your cart and check out from this list as well. When you're done editing the theme settings, you can head back to sections over here on the left. And right now we are looking at our homepage. This is giving us a desktop preview, but we can also look at a mobile preview or a full screen preview if we're interested. I actually recommend editing your site for the first time in mobile preview, as most of the traffic you can expect to get is coming from mobile these days. Now, if you click on an individual element on the homepage, like this heading, you can actually update the text itself. So rather than saying browse our latest products, maybe I'll say the best merch from Barn 2. Then you can click back here and see all of the different sections. You can also add new sections, clicking this button here, and you can search for a type of section. Now, all of these sections here represent the different parts of the homepage that you see here. So this image banner is for the top, and if I want to update this image, then I can do that now. Now, if I click on this edit image button, you can change the focal point by dragging this little thing here, clicking on save and heading back, then clicking on save. Now we can see the updated focal point looks a lot better. Now, if I head back out here, notice that I can also hide any section by clicking on this eye icon, and that will show or hide this header menu. Down here, we can see the image banner. We can also show or hide that using this button. That way we don't have to delete things entirely in order to remove them from the page. If I also want to add a new section to my page, I can click here and choose from any of this list or search for additional sections as well. So for example, a nice one to add might be a slideshow showcasing some of your images of your products. Let's pop that in. So now we have an image slide, and if I click on that, it'll give me some options for images. If I explore the free images, you can see I can search for a bunch of free and different images. Let's search for hoodies. And that didn't come up with anything, but in my case, I have the images already prepared. So I'll select those and add them in. This is the image that will preview. And here I can select additional images. Again, if I want to hide that section, I can just simply press this I button and it'll disappear from the page. Don't forget to click on save once you've made all your changes. And don't forget to preview your page on various different types of devices so you can see what it will actually look like on your site. Now, we also need to consider the other pages of our website, including of course our product page. And we can access this here by clicking on default product up in the top and center of the page. Then you can see how your products will display on a mobile device or on the desktop view, of course, which we kind of already saw beforehand. But note that now we can update or edit the ordering or the display of all of these different sections and how they will look. Just like the homepage, you can edit or reorder any of these to match your vision. You can literally just click and drag in order to change the order of something. Remember to save all your changes once you're done. Step 4, add essential pages. Now, of course, your store will need more than just a basic homepage. Here is a list of essential pages that every store should add before launching. First, to add new pages, you can click to exit out of the theme settings, and then click on your online store and go to pages. Now you'll notice that at the moment, we only have a contact page. So let's add a new page with this button up here. Pages that you'll want to add include the About Us page, contact page, which may already be there by default. And then you can also add a privacy policy and a terms of service page, although these do exist in Shopify by default, and you can edit them in the main site settings. I'll show you where that is later on in the video. For now, let's add our About page. We can also add some content to this page. You'll notice that we also have the option to use different headings or other text elements, as well as adding things like images and videos to this page. Now we'll also want to make this page visible in order to add it to our site's navigation in the next step. Then click on Save. You can always preview the page by clicking here. So we can see how this page looks, and obviously we would want to add some more details about the team and the company, but for now this is looking just fine. Now if I click on this back button here, you can see all of the pages we've created so far, and you can see that they're both visible. If they're listed as hidden or private, then you cannot add them to your site's navigation, which is the next step. Over here on the left, you can click on Navigation, and this is going to allow people to find these different pages from the top menu on your store. Click on Main Menu, and you can see here we have Home, Shop Catalog, and Contact. I can add a new menu item like the About Us page by clicking here and finding it from the list in Pages. Click on About Us and click on Save. That's now been added to our menu. And when I click on our store and refresh the page, you can see About Us has now been added to the top level menu. If we go back to Online Store, you can also see this option for blog posts. Now it's really easy to create new blog posts for your site. Now remember that a blog post is a bit different than a page like the About Us or Contact page. Blog posts can cover more of the current events or updates from your company, and they can also include content that will rank on Google, so you can get some traffic from various different searches. This does require some expertise in SEO, but bottom line, if you are writing something for your blog, it can bring people to your site. So you can click on Create a Blog Post, and similar to the other steps that we've done before, we can add a title and some text or image content in the box here. We can also have AI help us to generate text as before, and I recommend adding images and videos. It's also a good idea to add a feature image to your blog post. For now, I'm just going to choose one of my product images. Then down here you can see an excerpt and some search engine settings, which again you'll need if you're trying to optimize this blog post for search intent. Finally, you can set up who the author is, as well as the different category for the blog. In this case, we just have a news feed, and then you can save it down here. Now, it's great that we are able to post to our blog, but if nobody's able to find it on our website, then I doubt we'll have many readers. So you can head back to your navigation and your main menu, where you can also add the news feed to your blog and click save, or you can go to Online Store, click on Themes, Customize, and from your home page or any other page, you can also add a section just for the blog. So if I search for blog, this will add a section which will include new blog posts. Then you can click on Save. Don't forget to preview your blog posts and check that everything is looking how it should. Step 5. Set up your store operations, shipping, taxes, and payments. So things are looking good now, but we'll need to enable a couple of crucial settings in order to be able to accept payments and ship out our orders. The first settings page is just for internal use. You can update your store details, then move down to the Payments tab. To find the main store settings, you can exit the theme editor and then look way down here at the bottom left and click on the Settings option. Now the first setting here is just for your internal use, so you can update any of your store details and then move straight down to the Payments tab. Here you can choose a payment provider, and here in Poland, there are a number of different payment providers. This includes Stripe, which I think is the preferred option. Now, when you click on a payment provider to set it up, you'll be prompted to go to that payment provider's website and set up your account. This is a fairly involved process, which does require things like ID verification, bank account details, and so on. But once it's all set up, then you'll be good to go. In most countries, you can also set up Shopify payments, which I do recommend as it will enable you to accept all of the major payment types such as digital wallets and credit cards. They also offer some of the lowest fees for merchants, which is great no matter what stage you're at in your business. Then once you've set up your payments, be sure to test the checkout process to make sure everything works smoothly. Then click on the Checkout tab on the left. Make sure to check this option for phone number or email instead of just email. And I also like to check this Require First and Last Name option. If you're making any changes to your settings, you can always click Save up the top here. Now let's move to shipping and delivery. Here we can define our different rates for shipping, both domestically and internationally. If you don't plan to ship outside your country, that's okay, but you'll need to adjust the settings to match your needs either way. You'll see here at the top the products that these settings are applying to. Scroll down a little bit, we can see the shop location is set to Poland and our domestic shipping rate is set to free at the moment. Then international rates we have here. I can also delete this zone completely, so we no longer have an international option. Now this will make it so people who visit your site from other countries won't be able to check out or buy your products, but if you can't ship it to them, then that's actually by design. You can also edit these rates here and come up with a custom rate. You could even give it a better name than standard. Something like free tracked shipping 4 to 10 business days, or whatever the specifics are for your shipping situation. And you can also add a price or just keep it as free. You can also set up conditional pricing, so it might be free if a minimum weight is reached or based on a minimum order price. So for example, if they spend 100 zloty in my store, then they get free shipping. You can also just remove these conditions and just keep it free. But do note that Shopify has no idea what shipping rates are available to you. This is something that you need to find out by connecting with local or international courier services. That way you can set accurate rates. If you're providing free shipping, make sure you know the actual shipping costs so you can bake them into your pricing strategy and avoid losing money on every sale. Now, once you're finished with this, you can click on Save. And we'll head to the next one, which is taxes. Now, if you're selling internationally, make sure you understand the tax rules in each country, or perhaps you should set up an individual Shopify store for each country that you're selling in, which might be easier. Now, Shopify can help as they do calculate taxes for most countries, but you may need professional advice for more complex tax needs. You can also integrate with other apps such as Avalara Tax Compliance or Vertex Tax and Compliance. These are both paid apps, but they're going to help you to set up tax correctly and not run into any issues with the taxman later on. Suffice it to say, I will not be going into all the details in this video, but it is something you need to get right before you can get started. Now we can also go down to domains, and this is like the web address that people will visit your store from. By default, you do get a shopify.com domain, but it's not going to be very user-friendly, and it's not going to give off a lot of trust signals to your potential customers when they see your domain. So I recommend getting your own custom domain, and you can click on buy domain here and buy it from Shopify. So I'll look for barn2merch and see if that's available. Barn2merch.com is available for this price. However, you can also buy a domain from a third-party provider such as Namecheap or GoDaddy, and then you can connect it to your Shopify store. So that's also pretty easy to set up if you want to. You just need to click on this connect existing domain and then add your domain that you already own and follow the steps to connect it. Now we're almost ready to start selling, but first you will need to take a look at and choose a plan offered by Shopify, as this free trial will end in just a few days. So if you click on choose plan, you can see all of the different plans that they offer. And if you scroll down, you can even see the starter or retail plans. Now, do note that there are some limitations to these plans. Also note that transaction fees are reduced if you are on a higher plan. So if you're selling a lot of volume, then moving up in the plans may actually save you money depending on the size of your store. Take some time to go through the rest of the settings in your own time. I've only gone through the ones that are essential for setting up your store for the first time. But of course, there are plenty of other options and settings here that you may find useful. Then you can close out of the settings page and take note of the other tabs on the left here that'll be useful for you once you start. For example, the orders tab is where you can see all of your new orders and fulfill them. The customers tab will give you details about your customers once they filled in their information at checkout. And the analytics tab is where you can see all of the reports from Shopify telling you all about your sales, profits, estimated earnings, etc. Then there's also a tab specifically for discounts where you can add new discounts and sales to your store, which I think is pretty handy. And step 6, go live. Once all your products and pages are set up, it's time to launch. Make sure that your site is optimized for mobile, make sure that your payment system works, and your shipping provider is set up as well. Once you're happy with how everything looks and functions, you can finally hit publish and make your store live. But don't forget to do some marketing, as that is the next obvious step. In any case, I hope this tutorial helped you out today. If it did, I'd really appreciate you supporting our work on this channel by leaving a like on this video. Thanks so much. You can also subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this coming out in the future, or watch this video next to learn how to optimize your product pages. And of course, thanks for watching.